As a therapist, what is the healthiest thing somebody could do right now when it comes to friendship?
I'm going to say you have to be willing to be seen. I work with so many people who struggle with their self-esteem, and they don't recognize that the stories that they're telling themselves that are riddled with inadequacy and this belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm unlovable. Why would Tamsen want to be my friend? Why would Mina want to be my friend? Another thing is this comparative suffering where we pull out our measuring stick and we say, look at what Mina has. Look at what Tamsen has achieved. Why would I be valuable to them?
Do we do that?
People do that a lot. And that in my line of work, that honestly is the number one thing I see impacting people's ability to make friendships. Because there is this deep inadequacy that people are holding on to, and it causes them to shrink themselves and create this story that I don't belong, instead of recognizing that sometimes belonging requires you to pull up a chair and have a seat.
If you were listening to these words right now, and Mina, you just like it just touched my heart, like I felt that. But if you were feeling not good enough, you're comparing yourself, you're listening to this right now and saying like, I'm not good enough to be around these people. That is wrong. That is wrong thinking, right?
Wrong.
How do you correct that thinking though? Because that is very deep rooted.
It's very deep rooted.
I mean, it's hurtful to hear.
It's and I
think
so
we've
hard.
all done it to an extent, but it's hurtful to hear.
Yes. A lot of that is rooted in our attachment styles, our core wounds that we've had from childhood. A lot of it is rooted in trauma. And so if some people have dealt with a friendship breakup, they create this assumption nobody's going to want to hang out with me anymore, especially if that friendship breakup didn't come with closure, if they were ghosted. Sometimes people create this story that I was the problem. I was unlovable to the point where someone didn't even confide in me and have a conversation with me.
Right.
So something must be deeply wrong with me that you would just disappear after 15 years of a friendship. So we start to tell ourselves stories. And one of the things that we have to do is really start to challenge those negative belief systems that we have about ourselves. One of the best ways that we can challenge it, though, is by putting ourselves in environments to allow people to see us and to allow people to see the fullness of who we are. And so when you start to tell yourself a story of, I'm not going to go into this environment because if I do, people are going to judge me. The first thing I want you to know, honestly, when you go into a restaurant, when you go into the gym, people are lifting weights. Nobody's thinking about you. Do you know how hard it is to lift 50 pounds? No one's thinking about you, right? So the first story we have to tell ourselves is, I'm not as important as my trauma is making me think I am. Because it's my trauma wound that's loud. And my trauma wound is yelling at me and saying, everyone in this room is judging you. Everyone in here is critiquing you. And the reality is when you look around, nobody's looking at you. People are in their own world. So I think that's the first thing that we have to do to silence the loudness of that anxiety and that trauma that we have. We have to challenge it. The second thing,
it feels safe when you do that. I think safer because if you're thinking, because I think we all think that.
All do.
Everyone's looking, they have time to do that, but it's hard.
It's very hard. Another thing, Tamsen, I think has been really fun for me to do with my clients is I challenge them to take themselves on dates.
Okay, I like this. Let me hear.
And I think that this has allowed them to feel more confident in who they are, because I've heard so many stories from my clients where they'll come back and say to me, I took myself to the movies or I took myself to this place or wherever I went, and I actually met someone who was also alone, and we engaged in small talk and banter, and it wasn't as scary as I thought it was.
Yeah.
And being in this environment, because it helped me combat social anxiety. And social anxiety is, I don't want to enter certain spaces because I fear judgment.
So you have somebody go, so someone's listening and goes like, I can do that. Going to dinner, going to a movie, going to a show, just going out? Just
going out, doing something low effort, right? Go take yourself to dinner and sit at the bar. Do you know how many people just sit at the bar by themselves? Talk to the bartender. Meet someone new that can fit into your circle of exchange.
I have to tell you something funny, and it's ironic that you're here today because yesterday I was talking to a young woman that I've known for a long time, and I said, I haven't seen you in a long time. She goes, oh yeah, I just got back from Paris. And I said, I didn't know you were going to Paris. She goes, yeah, I went for 10 days. And I said, that's amazing. I said, did you go with friends? She goes, no, I went by myself. I decided to take myself to Paris. I said I wanted to go one day, and if I didn't have somebody to go with, a partner or something, I was just going to take myself. And I was fascinated. I mean, I went through a divorce. I'd taken myself out to dinner. I've never gone out of the country by myself. And so I said, well, what did you do every night? Like, so did you go to were the restaurants close to the hotel? For some reason, I needed to visualize her there and understand how it worked. I think I felt like she had this glow of so much confidence of being able to do that. Is that what happens?
Absolutely. Because first you start to build self-trust. You start to say to yourself, I can do this really hard thing.
Yeah.
This thing that I told myself that was so jarring, so scary, I was incapable of doing it. I taught myself a new practice. I taught myself I was capable of doing this hard thing. And then by doing it, you also start to learn more about yourself. Because sometimes when we're in friendships, especially if you are someone who didn't learn skills to erect boundaries, to manage symptoms of people pleasing, sometimes in my work too with my clients, I notice they lose themselves in friendships because they're so focused on pleasing their friends because they don't want to be abandoned. And then when they do things by themselves, it allows them to see the things that they really like and the things that they really value. And then it then helps them to go out and create new relationships around those new value systems that they believe in. So I think it's just an opportunity for you to get to know yourself better so that you can bring that new version of you into the relationships you're trying to build, but also the ones that already exist.